My husband finally admitted he's in love with my sister. After years of suspicion, my husband confessed to me yesterday that he is in love with my sister. In a drunken state, I don't know if I should take it seriously or if it's just a drunk thing. Yesterday, we had dinner with my sister and her husband, and we all had a lot to drink. After my sister and her husband left, my husband and I had sex. Neither of us were tired, so we continued drinking a bit of wine, listening to music in the background, and everything was amazing. I thought my husband was smiling and in a good mood. He is always like that when he is drunk. We talked about my sister and her husband, and he just suddenly said, "I'm so in love with sister's name." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm so desperately in love with sister's name. What I would do to taste her lips. She is brilliant." He looked dreamy and was still smiling. I said, "How drunk are you?" He said, "Probably plenty." I was drunk too, but still, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I just sat there silently, and he too was in his own world with a smile etched on his face. He looked like he was a million miles away. I went to bed. This morning, all the memories came rushing back, and now that I'm not drunk, it hit me even more. What he said horrified me, and my heart is in pieces. He hasn't mentioned anything and is acting normal, if a bit hungover. I don't know what to do now. He has always had a good relationship with my sister, with mutual respect. Should I ignore his drunken comments? Was that just him being drunk? Should I wait for him to start talking? I'm not sure he even remembers. What about the sex we had? Something was different, even though I loved it, and I thought it was one of the best experiences of my life. He was different, passionate, tender, and loving. He kept saying, "I love you. You are brilliant." My sister has always been modest and tomboyish, but she has lost 25 kilograms and has been working out for a year. She wore a form-fitting red dress yesterday with red lips. She looked stunning, and we all gave her compliments about it. She was very happy about it. I don't know why I included this, but I thought maybe it's relevant. I should definitely bring it up once he's not hungover anymore and can think clearly. I am torn over whether to believe the old saying, "Drunk mind speaks sober thoughts," because I do think alcohol inhibits a lot of clear thinking and decision-making. However, I also don't know how much I believe alcohol alone can make someone's husband confess to being in love with her sister. Do you think he'll be able to get over this, regardless of how much he denies those feelings being true? Because I think he will deny it. If it were me, I'd never feel comfortable with my husband and my sister being in the same room again, which isn't sustainable for a marriage. This, I think, was probably him expressing his lust for my sister in the moment. To be completely honest, I know that for many people, whenever their inhibitions are lowered and they're in an inebriated state, those two emotions kind of get blended into one. For many people, they will have a tendency to express their lust for someone as love for that reason. Nonetheless, I need to have a serious heart-to-heart with him. No one else will be able to answer for him, and even with conversation, it could be extremely difficult for me to move forward with our relationship from here. I know from experience that even if this is dismissed as lust, I may very well carry this experience with me like a shadow. If we both want to try to make this work, I'd highly suggest couples counseling and individual therapy to help us both move forward in a healthy manner. I wish for nothing but the best, and I hope for a brighter future ahead. I'm so sorry this is happening. My ex once told me, "I love you," using my twin sister's name, and I said, "That's my twin sister, not me." He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I got the names mixed up." He didn't. He was in love with my sister. He was dating me to get to my sister. This is definitely something you need to bluntly discuss with him. Wasn't dating you the stupidest move if he wanted your sister? No sister would accept her sister's ex? That's what I thought too, and then she dated him after. We were raised in a traumatic household and didn't have the best dynamics between us, as we were often compared and put against each other by our parents. But I do agree that 90% of the time, that's the worst way to do it. A much better way would be to become friends with their siblings instead of pursuing them romantically. But I guess he wasn't thinking clearly. LOL, this is so painful to read. You absolutely have to have that discussion today. He is acting like nothing happened. Do you think he doesn't remember saying it? I agree. Drunk words are sober thoughts. Have you ever seen any behavior towards her that made you pause? Ask him point blank and make sure you are facing each other. His reaction will tell you a lot. He always liked my sister. He likes my whole family and is friends with my brothers. But my sister is the one he likes the most, and we are very close with her and her husband. We do most things together that aren't just the two of us, but my sister has always been my best friend, so it was normal. If he had only said, "I love her," it could well be a drunken thing, him really liking her as a person and saying it like that. At worst, an innocent crush, but no more than that perhaps. But he went on to make sure he left no doubts about his feelings. What he said were not silly drunken words, it was an articulate thought with a lot of feeling underneath, and it came out because his guard was down. People say a lot of dumb things while drunk. What people typically don't do is profess their love for a person in this way, without it having some string of relevance. I would definitely bring it up abruptly and see his reaction. That should tell you everything you need to know. Update. Hi. The rules for updating here are 3 days, which is why I didn't update on Sunday when I talked to my husband. Also because I'm very conflicted. I talked to my husband, he said he didn't remember much about that night, especially after my sister and her husband left and we continued drinking. I told him what he said, and he didn't look shocked nor surprised, just that he didn't remember saying anything. I asked him if he felt it before we started drinking. He said that he always loved my sister because she is kind and warm. Then he said that he thought she looked very beautiful and probably his drunken self thought she was hot. He said, "It is normal that people are curious about the opposite sex." He said that he always thought she is beautiful because all my family is good looking, but her weight loss gave her confidence and she looked happy, and he was happy for her. I asked him if he could choose between us, and he was shocked and said that I was his wife and the mother of his children, and he loved me. So I asked him if he had just met us, and I wasn't his wife or anything, and my sister wasn't married. He said that this was getting ridiculous, and he hated playing hypothetical games because people get worked up and fight about things that aren't real. After dinner, he said that he loved me very much, and he is happy, and I shouldn't overthink what he said when he was too drunk to even know who or where he was. I'm just not sure. I keep thinking about you in this situation. I've read your comments. I hope you will see a therapist alone too. It would eat at me how much influence did maintaining continued access to her, regardless of how limited, play a part in his decision to stay with you. My brain would never, ever be able to reconcile knowing how he'd make love to her and that he used your body as a surrogate for his passion for your sister. Those last two would play on a loop in my head for all time. Even contemplating getting to a place of trying to share intimacy with him, my brain would never get to a place where I could surrender to the moment and feel the connection. I'd be comparing, I'd be trapped in my head, overthinking every action and reaction. I'd be disengaged and self-conscious, always finding myself lacking. My ADHD and my brain would never be able to believe it wasn't just a performance. I'm very close to my sister, and we even live within 2 minutes of each other. Don't think I haven't thought about that he probably accepted the next best thing of being family, friends with her. I'm obsessing about every interaction and every time he mentions her, etc. It is never in a negative way. He is always happy when talking to or about her. Is he the same about me? I don't know. Is this true, or am I imagining things now? I don't know. Yay, there's no coming back from this. It's always going to be in the back of your head. Grow a spine and listen to your gut. He does. He has confessed. For me, now he has had feelings for my sister for some years now, but he said that he loves me and our life together. We are going to start counseling, and from now on, when I hang out with my sister, he won't be there. He said he's in love with her. He said it has come and gone throughout the years. He never wanted to act on them in the past and never will.